Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bill. Today is Friday the 10th. We had a WASDE report released out at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to go over the numbers as well as the reaction and what that means to producers. But before we get into that, let's turn over to the Grain Hedge trading platform and see where we closed off the day. Corn futures trading up 5 1/4 cents to 4.44 1/4 on the December contract. Soybeans up 6 1/4 cents to 10.22 on the November contract, and wheat in Chicago trading up 3 cents to 5.75 on that September contract. Now let's talk a little bit about the ending stocks. One thing you'll notice, we had a little bit of a surprise for both old and new crop. For old crop, ending stocks came in a little bit lower than expected. For new crop, we saw ending stocks a little bit higher than expected. Traders were really focusing on those new crop numbers, looking at yield to see if the USDA was going to revise their yield forecast. We got no revision there, and as a result of that, new crop ending stocks came in higher than expectations. As a result, we saw trading action following the report as selling pressure. That selling pressure drove us down a little bit, but then we were able to recover there and actually push a little bit higher simply because I think traders were looking at that and kind of shrugging off those numbers, saying yes, they may not have revised yield estimates today in the July report, but in the August report, we would expect to see some revisions in yield after we get through more pollination, and also after we get those crop harvested acreage surveys completed there in Missouri and Oklahoma and other states as well that were delayed by excessive amounts of rain. So I think August report is going to have a lot of news there that could lead to some fireworks in trade reaction, but really that's a month away. Let's go over the rest of these numbers here. We have old crop stocks right in front of us right now. We came out at 1.779 billion bushels. That was down from the June forecast here of 1.876. So we saw 97 million bushel revision in ending stocks for old crop corn. That's significant, and that's one of the reasons why we were able to bounce back after that initial selling pressure following the release of the report. When you look at soybeans, we had more demand numbers revised higher here, and that resulted in lower ending stocks. 255 million bushel carryout of 14-15 crop compared to the June forecast of 330 million bushel carryout. So a 75 million bushel revision there for old crop ending stocks. That was significant. Now let's talk a little bit about new crop, because this is what what traders were really focusing on. You'll notice yield was unchanged for corn at 166.8 bushels per acre. They left soybean yield the same at 46 bushels per acre. But you'll notice corn ending stocks did move lower from the June report. We just didn't see it as low as traders were expecting. Traders were expecting to see a 231 million bushel decrease in ending stocks. We only got 172 million bushel decrease in ending stocks to 1.599 billion bushels. When you look at soybeans, traders were expecting to see 105 million bushel decrease in ending stocks. We got only a 50 million bushel decrease in ending stocks. And wheat expecting to see a 47 million bushel increase in ending stocks, and we only got a 28 million bushel increase in ending stocks. So that was positive to see there for wheat. They came in a little bit shy of analyst expectations, and that was a little bit supportive for new crop wheat. But let's just talk about the balance sheets there for corn. One of the revisions that we saw there for new crop balance sheet on corn was a 50 million bushel increase in feed and residual. We saw a 25 million bushel increase in export sales and a 25 million bushel increase in corn used for ethanol. So demand numbers for new crop increasing here, for old crop increasing there, and that carried over to new crop numbers. And then, of course, soybeans, old crop, we saw 15 million bushel increase to exports, 15 million bushel increase to crushings, and 44 million bushel increase to feed and residual. Those are both old crop numbers, but that reflected, that was the reason why we saw beginning stocks increase or decrease, for corn and for soybeans. So this is, a very interesting report, because we did see a decline in ending stocks for new crop. But with that being in consideration, we have yet to see any sort of yield revisions here for corn. We have yet to see any yield revisions for soybeans, and also expected in the August report is the planted acreage surveys they were conducting here because of the planting delays in Missouri and other states down there in the western part of the grain belt. So that is something that we're going to want to be paying attention to. I think those were some of the reasons why the market seemed to shrug off this negative news or missing expectations and continue to be able to buy back to about where we were when the report was released. And of course, the other thing I want to focus on is global ending stocks. And this is kind of an interesting part of the report here, because you'll notice corn global ending stocks decreased from 197.01 million metric tons to 193.95. So we saw a nice revision lower there in global ending stocks for corn. For soybeans, we also saw a pretty significant revision lower from 83.7 million metric tons down to 81.6 million metric tons. But for wheat, very interesting here, going from 200.41 million metric tons to this month 212.06 million metric tons. We have China to thank for that. Basically, old crop China wheat there, what we saw was production increase, beginning stocks increase, and feed use decrease there. So a very sharp increase in global ending stocks for wheat. One of the reasons why I think wheat had a difficult time moving into the positive after the report. When you look at new crop wheat, you'll notice, look at that, a revision here from 202 million bushels to million metric tons to 219.8 million metric tons. That was really 100% a result of China. You'll notice, look at these China numbers here from June WASDE report for the 15-16 crop to the July WASDE report, going from ending stocks in China alone from 71.64 in June million metric tons to 88.79 million metric tons in July. So a significant increase in ending stocks there in China in terms of a change month over month. So that was that I think is going to weigh most likely on wheat here moving forward. That was probably one of the reasons why wheat had a difficult time moving back into the positive. But when you look at all these different charts, it really seems as though the trade reaction today was just kind of choppy. It wasn't very directional. We didn't really get a clear breakout from any sort of consolidation that we've had over the last couple of days. And so as a result, it's very difficult to predict exactly where we go from here. But it is possible that we continue to see traders kind of shrug off what we've seen in this WASDE report, expecting to see further revisions or revisions in yield and revisions in planted acreage and harvested acreage in the August report. Other than that, guys, that wraps up today's show. If you have any questions about what I talked about here, what it means to your crop, please give the office a call. The number is 877-472-4607. Remember, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and take a demo of our trading platform. See what it's like to have live quotes in the palm of your hand, live quotes at your desk office computer, and be able to trade the markets for just $7 commissions per side. It's a powerful tool for any marketer out there. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Monday. Have a safe weekend.